Mic'd up.
Welcome, everybody, to an episode of Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigars is Mic'd Up. My name is John Reger, PGA Broadcaster, and your Mic'd Up host. Our Mic'd Up today is brought to you by the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, whose mission is to serve as a driving force for celebration, inspiration, and recognition of athletes, organizations, venues, and events to encourage participation in sports. We are here today to talk about the Florida Sports Hall of Fame's Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigars event to be held on Wednesday, May 6th at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. And we have three special guests that are an integral part of the Florida Sports Hall of Fame and this upcoming event. So first of all, I'd like to introduce Jose Bello. He's a Tampa Bay business development executive and community advocate with more than 35 years experience in banking, marketing, and client engagement. And he's also on our Florida Sports Hall of Fame Advisory Committee. Welcome, Jose.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for having me.
Hey, the next person I'd like to introduce is Roy Smith, a former Major League Baseball pitcher who's played 8 seasons with the Cleveland Indians, Minnesota Twins, and Baltimore Orioles from 1984 to 1991. He's a Fordham University product and went through a respected post-playing career as a scout and front office executive for several Major League Baseball organizations, contributing decades of expertise in player evaluation and development. And if you happen to notice, he's got a Yankees uniform on. He's actually at George Steinbrenner Field. He's reporting in on the Baseball, Bourbon, Cigars. He's actually playing a baseball game. Aren't you too old for that, Roy?
Yes, I am. No, thanks for having me here, John. I appreciate it. No, I'm definitely too old to play this game. I'm much better at golf these days. So.
And finally, we're going to welcome Steve Eaves. He's the Vice President of Club and Team Relations at Fanatics, which happens to be one of our sponsors for the Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigar event. He manages key partnerships with professional teams and leagues across the sports landscape. He's an alumni of the University of Alabama Roll Tide. He serves on the board of the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, and he's the chairman of this event, the Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigars 2026. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, John. Appreciate you having me today.
Well, Steve, let's just start out with this about what is the Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigar event that's being brought to you by the Florida Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, it's an amazing celebration of baseball. We have typically hosted it during spring training as we enter into the regular season, but this year we pushed it out a few weeks because we've enhanced the event on several levels, including hosting it at Steinbrenner Field, where our colleague Roy is currently at. So we're really excited about that. The Steinbrenner family is fantastic. The organization is great to work with through the years. And what I'm really excited about is the beneficiary of the funds raised from the event will be Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, who happens to be celebrating their 100th anniversary this year, helping keep kids healthy and improving child health care.
Well, that's fantastic. And we've got such a special venue to be able to have this event at. And we'll remind our viewers out there, we are selling tickets to this event, and they're going fast. And if you want to visit our website, floridasportshof.org, you spell it out, FLA sportshof.org, and also visit us on social media at Florida Sports HOF 1961, Florida Sports HOF 1961 on all the social media. You'll see some QR codes there. You can buy those tickets today, which leads us into Roy Smith, our one of our advisory board members, and he is at George Steinbrenner Field for this event. So George Steinbrenner Field is the host of the Yankees when it comes to, I guess, the minor league team for spring training and things like that, and year-round for all their farm team games. So, Roy, what are you doing there today? What are you up to?
I'm actually playing in a 3-day men's tournament, 18 and over, but a lot of us are in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. And just a 3-day tournament, 6 games in 3 days, and winner take all.
Now, before we came on the broadcast, you had told us that you hit a double, and I thought you were a pitcher in your prime. But you're telling me you can hit too.
No, I can't hit. I just got lucky. No, I did. I hit a double, then going into third, I rolled my ankle like a true old guy. So I took myself out of
That's
the lineup.
inaccurate. I've been on the field with Roy in the old guy leagues, and he is certainly shows up early in the lineup.
Well, Roy, as a young guy, how in the world did you get involved with baseball? I know, obviously, as a child, but how did you go from probably Sandlot and Little League all the way to the majors?
Yeah, I just came up through the system. I played since I could throw a baseball, and from t-ball, graduated high school, got drafted out of high school. Kind of just stuck with the game my whole life. You know, it was all I really knew back in the day. I did like football and I like basketball and I like some other things, but baseball was always going to be my number one sport. Um, and I just stuck it out. I grinded it out. You know, I was never like an early round draft pick or, you know, I did make the team my freshman year in high school. You know, we had a pretty loaded high school team, but I did make the team my freshman year. And then actually I had a back surgery one year out of independent baseball and had retired from baseball at that point. And then got signed on with the Cleveland Indians a year later and then climbed the ranks from, you know, A-ball, AA, AAA to the big leagues in like a year and a half. So just kind of had a never quit mentality towards the game.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking over at Jose here, and I think at one of our previous meetings and gatherings at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, you made something mentioning about cigars. Are you into cigars?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, I am a big fan of cigars. Unfortunately, I am a bit of a lightweight, so cigars are interesting. It's really a mood setter, and you can find at times that you have an hour to smoke a larger cigar, maybe something like a Churchill, or sometimes if you're like me, if you're a lightweight or on short time, my go-to is usually a little torpedo, something like the Arturo Fuente short story. It's a wonderful 15-minute smoke. I tend to talk a lot, so by the time I pick it up, set it down, have conversation, I really whittle it down to about a 7-minute smoke, which is just about my speed. But that's one of the things that we're going to enjoy at the event is really some quality cigars, some quality people, some quality camaraderie. And the most important thing, as Steve mentioned, is the support that we have for the Johns Hopkins Hospital. It's really a great cause. I mean, certainly a great event, but the cause is what's driving the great event. And we're just really blessed to have this wonderful venue in our town, have so many great baseball former ballers in this town, just a rich baseball history. So it makes sense to bring it all together here, and we're excited about May 6th.
Hey, Jose, I understand that JC Newman Cigars is the cigar sponsor for this. And is it true that they're like the last North American premium hand rolled cigar factory?
Yes, it is 100% true. And if you know anything about this town, it's certainly a cigar centric town. We're known for a lot of things: baseball, cigars, beaches. But JC Newman is the last North American functioning cigar factory. And I invite you to connect with the great folks at JC Newman. Eric Newman does a great job as a multi generation operator. They do wonderful tours. They certainly make wonderful cigars. I have several of them in my humidor, and I always vacillate between, do I smoke it or do I just look at it and have the memories. It's a really great place down in Ybor, and we're just really blessed to have their support in this event again. They've been supporters for a long time. Um, I know that will continue. They feel like we do about the event, about the cause, and about the camaraderie of all the wonderful folks that'll be attending. So indeed, JC Newman is the place to go.
Hey, uh, raise your hand. Who's the bourbon expert on this broadcast right now?
I'm going to point up to this square, which
Okay,
is
so
Steve.
this one right, it's like the Brady Bunch. Okay, so Steve Eaves, as vice president of Fanatics, you might have the dream job that everybody would love to have in the world of sports for what you do, because your interaction with all the major league teams. Tell us about what you do with Fanatics and what Fanatics is all about.
I think a very gracious introduction there, but if you can't hack it as a professional athlete like Roy was, I do feel like I have the next best job as a fan and someone who works with a lot of the front offices across the various leagues in North
Only
America.
base for Austin.
And it's a lot of fun. I spend a lot of
Correction, that to
time
be a hit
with
by pitch.
executives, learning more
To be
about
bases
business
loaded.
organizations, and I also get to spend time with the fans, and that's what Fanatics is all about. It's about supporting the fans, providing the best experience we can, and the best product that we can. And I think that's reflected not only in North America, but across the globe now.
Well, Steve, there's going to be a lot of great bourbon and other spirits at this event. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'll start out and plug our buddy and co-board member, Nick Doyle with the Papas Pilar, who is always a massive supporter of this event. Even though it's rum, it's a great rum, and so we're excited to have him back, along with the various other wonderful. There you go. Yes, there you go. That's a good plug right there, by the way. But no, it's the spirits and the cigars and everything are wonderful. But also on tap, as you know, John, is we're going to be presenting Mayor Jane Castor. Roy's got a mute. Thank you. We're going to be presenting Mayor Jane Castor with a Visionary Award and how much she has meant to the city, how much she's meant to sports. She's a former athlete herself, college athlete. I think it's a big deal. And having former players to mingle with, I think that the auction that we're putting together between memorabilia and raffle tickets and items will be fantastic and exciting for people to donate more and get something really in return for that that's very meaningful.
Had to go hit.
Hey, Roy, you're going to go
Hit
hit?
mute.
That's
I'm in
fantastic.
the
You know
hole.
what? Thank you for being on the Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigars broadcast on behalf of the Florida Sports Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you being there, right there at George Steinbrenner Field.
Can't wait.
And we'll be looking at the stats tomorrow. We'll be looking at the box score, see if you got that hit or not. So thank you very
Yeah.
much, Roy,
I'm sure it'll be on
for spending
Essence
some
for
time
sure.
with us.
It'll be on
Good
Essence
Go get
luck,
him,
Roy.
Roy.
for sure.
All
Thanks, guys.
right, take care.
Bye bye.
Take care, bud. Hey, John, speaking of Steinbrenner Field, the Steinbrenners are supporters of Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, and Babe Ruth was actually one of the first athletes to support the hospital way back in the 20s and 30s when the Yankee spring training was in St. Pete. And so there's a nice connection there and synergy between everything we're doing and the place we're hosting the event at. And one funny story I will tell you is that when I was invited up to a Yankees game, my buddy asked me to come up to the Audi Club, which is next to the left field video board, and I'm like, why do you want me up here? And he said, no, we got to be up there by the third inning. So we're up there grabbing some food and drinks, and he goes, hey, look out on the field, and on the video board it says, the Yankees want to welcome America's guest, Steve Eaves. That was a pretty funny moment there in my travels to all the ballparks.
That's absolutely fantastic. I thought our fellow your Hall of Famer Barry Smith, class of 2022 for football, FSU great. I thought he was America's guest. I guess that's. But you obviously must be at a higher level when it comes to that kind of elite level America guest stuff.
No, Barry Legend is in a class of his own.
Yeah, it's nice to have a seat at the table, though, right, Steve?
That's right. At the very end of the table, I think.
That's right. That's right. As long as it's
Hey,
not the kiddie
Jose.
table. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
Jose, so you've been involved with a lot of sports. Tell us how in the world you get involved with all kinds of sports. We do appreciate your involvement here with the Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigars and the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. And a reminder of viewers out there, again, we are selling tickets. Now, this isn't a telethon or anything, but we are selling tickets. You want to go to flasportshof.org, flasportshof.org on the web, or at Florida Sports HOF 1961. It was founded in 1961. Again, at Florida Sports HOF 1961. You do that on all the social media. You'll see a QR code. You can scan it because you need to buy your ticket today. So, Jose, back to you as far as the your involvement with sports in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, that's a great question. I always start, and I get that question from time to time. Just how did you get here through the sports world, and tell me a little bit about your journey. So the first thing that I'll say is that I felt like it was preordained, because if you think about it, a Cuban guy named Jose, if I'm not playing baseball, I'm probably heading in the wrong direction, right? So I played. I grew up in Chicago, far away from any little league field. So I really didn't have the opportunity to do that. But there was a lot of sandlot opportunities, and there was something I could go back to my first at bat with a wiffle ball bat when I was maybe 4 or 5. And there was just something that came over me when I held the bat, when I hit a ball for the first time. And I just knew that for the rest of my life, that would be part of my life. Now, when I started playing organized ball here in at Skyway Park Little League back in '76, I was just absolutely awful. I knew I had it in my heart, but I was awful. But what really resonated with me was the camaraderie from the teammates. How baseball specifically is such a team sport, but it's also an individual sport. Like Ted Williams said, the good Lord will get you to the plate, but you're on your own from there. So over the years, and again, citing the amount of talent and the amount of great people and players that have come through this community, not just in baseball, just in general. We're blessed with great weather. So whatever sport you're playing, it doesn't matter what season they have, you can really get on it for 12 months out of the year. I had the opportunity to play high school baseball at Jefferson High School. I was a class of '83. We were Western Conference champions. Across the town from us, our biggest rival was Hillsborough High School, and they had 3 pitchers that it didn't matter what time of the week you played them, you're going to see one or the other. It was Vance Lovelace, Floyd Yeomans, and Dwight Gooden. So,
Wow, Dwight Gooden.
yeah, yeah, that's correct. And actually, a little side note to my
Gosh,
um,
you know what that's like? That's like in the game of golf. You're a junior golfer and you got to play against Tiger Woods when he was a junior golfer. Holy
That's
cow!
that's exactly what it was. But I also was blessed on our team, through the years that I played at Jefferson. I had the chance to play with Freddie McGriff, Tino Martinez, Luis Gonzalez. So there was never a lack of talent, and it's just great to have that experience and continue to be friends with all of those folks. So now when I mentor, it doesn't matter what age they are, middle school, junior high school kids, even folks that are out of school. I always, go back to the lessons that I learned on the baseball field. In fact, my kids will tell you, oh no, here comes another dad baseball story. Yeah, I have 30-year-old twins and a 30-year-old
Great.
stepdaughter. So, but
Yeah.
it really, the analogies and the template for losing and for having to persevere and not feeling well and having to go through with your commitment and not letting others down, not letting yourself down, glorifying your talents through however they were given to you and however you had to develop them. It's really been kind of a guiding light for me to share with folks. And that's why I think that this event is so critical, because there's so much talent, so many great stories of successes, failures, ups and downs, peaks and
Hey,
valleys.
speaking of that, just made me think about something, Steve. There's going to be some Major League Baseball players at this event. Jose's talking about throughout some names that they've been at our events before. I know that Wade Boggs has been at our events before, and several others. I'm not sure who's coming this year. Do you know who's coming, or what do you expect when you get to Baseball Bourbon Cigars? What are we doing with these Major League Baseball players when they're there?
Goodness, we'll have quite a few. And just real quick to digress for a minute, Jose really touched on something. Hillsborough County alone could field like an all-star Major League Baseball team through the years, right? And even leading into current today, Pete Alonso from Plant High School is one that comes top of mind when you think of other guys like Sheffield and McGriff and Boggs and Gooden and all those guys. We're like a wealth of baseball talent here. And so you're going to see a lot of those former players at the event, 12 to 15 at least, and very friendly. They understand why they're there, why they're invited, and they're in full support of the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, which, John, you're a bit of a historian. When you go back to Palmer and Nicholas and some of those names of members, it's like a who's who. And I would put it up against any other state in the country in terms of talent and amazing athletes.
Well, yeah, that's true. When you mention the state, and I guess if you're in another state and you'll be listening to this or watching this broadcast, you'll like, hey, my state's better than yours. But Florida, not only is Florida in the golf business known as the golf capital of the world, it's got more miles of fairways than beach. It's also the sports capital of the world. You look at the major league franchises we have here. You look at all the amateur sports. You look at the college sports. You look at the youth sports in general, even the senior sports. I could truly say, at least in my opinion, that Florida is the sports capital of the world. Hey, I was thinking about the what you're saying about the Major League Baseball players are going to be there. My understanding is, do you put them on a stage or something? I hear you have like a Q&A session going on.
We do have a Q&A session that will go on, and we'll learn a lot of the stories and lessons like Jose just articulated a few minutes ago, which will be terrific. We'll also have on the stage an Olympic Hall of Famer in Brooke Bennett, who will be celebrating her birthday that night. So you never know who will show up at this event. A lot of the luminaries will be there, and Brooke will be talking about her Olympics experience, her commitment to sports and to youth and safety. In fact, they're having an event tonight, the CFY is, which I believe, Jose, I'll see you at. Am I correct in that?
That is correct. We are heading to Clearwater Beach tonight for what may be a chilly night on the beach, but another great cause with some great folks. And in fact, I believe that our moderator and one of our panelists, JP Peterson and Orestes Estrada, will be emceeing that show. So it's, and this is part of the style and just the ability to run into those folks that you've seen them on television, they've been our heroes, and they're scattered throughout the community doing their things. And just to dial back just a sec to about what do you do after sports. Look, I could tell you so many guys that I played with that were way more talented than those that made it. They just didn't have luck wasn't on their side and timing didn't work. But I tell kids all the time when mentoring them, you probably have a better chance of landing on the moon, splitting an atom, or becoming a heart surgeon than you do starting for one of 30 major league teams. So you have to kind of have a plan. Never lose your dream. I mean, I turned 61 in March, and I'm still playing in a 30 and over Sunday league in Pinellas County. So it's you just never let it go. I know the Yankees aren't going to call anymore. I know it hurts a little bit more than it used to, but it's still fun, and it's still in the dugout, on the field, going to battle with your friends and community. It's just an amazing, amazing thing.
I'd like to
I
make one
was
other point.
doing some searching on the web, doing some show prep, and I typed in the state of Florida, golf themed, sports themed, and charity events, and up popped your two pictures right there. I needed an image, and there's Steve and Jose right there. You guys are like everywhere all the time, and you do donate a lot of your time and effort and funds to these events, and that's what it takes, and that's what the Florida Sports Hall of Fame is all about. We have probably almost 300 members in our Hall of Fame. We've been going since 1961 doing this. We have an annual enshrinement every year. We have an annual golf tournament. And on our website, what we do is we have on our website, which is flasports.org, okay, flasportshof.org, is we actually have all of our enshrinees from 1961 on. And lately, what we've been doing is we've been doing mic'd up with them, just like we're doing the mic'd up here. we've been doing mic'd up with our Hall of Famers to bring them alive. It's more than just a picture. It's more than just a statue, more than memorabilia at a museum, which our museum's down here at the Mid Florida Event Center in Port St. Lucie. It's about making them come alive because there's some great insights like the ones you, Steve, and Jose have given today to our viewers out there about sports and life in general. But imagine that coming from a Hall of Fame athlete who's been enshrined and honored by everyone, and especially more important for the young people to hear these stories. So we do appreciate your efforts with it. Hey, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here, because we're getting ready for this event. It's coming up. It's the Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigars. It's Wednesday, May 6th, George Steinbrenner Field, Tampa, Florida, home of the New York Yankees in the sense it's the spring training and the farm team year round. And you just saw Roy Smith out there. He's part of our Florida Sports Hall of Fame, and he's still at it. And even though his last year in the big leagues was 1991, he's still playing a little baseball with his friends and having a good time. Saw the Yankee uniform. You saw where he was actually at George Steinbrenner Field. They're having a game right now. He's actually playing in it, and that's where we're going to have the baseball bourbon cigar event. So gentlemen, I appreciate you coming on, and so. I am your
John.
mic'd up host, John Reger, PGA, and for Steve Eaves, Jose Bello, and Roy Smith, and the Florida Sports Hall of Fame Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigars event at George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, John.